Another taken out by the water. What? Spin what? A scene played out before.
Let me ask this question, because you just touched on something in regards to purpose, like what's it called, divine destiny, however we want to phrase it. But the concept of role, because sometimes people try to overreach or overextend themselves in areas that they're not built for. Like, you don't have the capacity to fulfill a position or a role, but yet still you think, I need to reach that because that's my idea of success. Or how the scriptures talk about covetousness. Like, you're desiring things that aren't for you. And we unfortunately live in a world that there's this competition and we're always looking to up the next person, right? So in this survival of the fittest, you may be doing level A, and I'm thinking, all right, unless I'm doing level A, I'm not making it. So I need to knock you down, or I need to find a way to reach your position or even eclipse you, right? So just talk about being content. Or is content a bad thing? Is it something that is stagnant? Because sometimes we use the term stagnation, but yet still, is it something that is a man-made construct? Or is it a possibility that you could be operating in your maximum potential, but to the world or to the natural eyes, you're just average, you're just blah, you're not doing anything? You just say, so because I see, and I talk to a lot of people, and there are a lot of people in that zone where, in accordance to the world and according to what they see, they're amounting to nothing. So therefore, they want to step out and begin to emulate and be like other people, when they need to be in their own element and be where they're supposed to be and maximize that self to the fullest.
So you go back to root, spirit, root, fruit. What is the agenda? What was the Most High's intention, and what is our society's intention? And based on that intention is what the doctrine or the education comes from, to train, to indoctrinate, to brainwash individuals to be responsive to a certain type of outcome. So if you've been taught from a sort of a pirating approach to overconsumption and a capitalization as it is in its current state. Now, capitalization as a principle in all is not necessarily bad, but it has to have balance, and there isn't balance. The balance is the same result, which is to consume. And if you're consuming, the natural law will say you will be consumed. So you're never going to win, because it's a double. That's the double tongue we were talking about earlier, or the double negative. You're pursuing something so that you can get a place, so that you can get a this, so you can get a that. Once you understand that whatever you're going for, that $1 million, guess what? Someone got 2, and then you get 5, but someone has 20. Then you get 20, but he got 100.
I don't give a rat's if you're worth $1 billion. What? $3 billion. What? $6 billion. What? $8 billion. You piss me off, I'll open up an $8 billion can of worms and serve it to you, and that's all I got to say about that. Okay.
It's never going to end. So that's the cycle. That's as Bob would call it, the rat race of continuum that you keep going till you get burnt out, till you break the law, till you break your covenant, till you break this, or till you do that, and then all of it is gone. So then Solomon asked himself, he said, what is this then? This is called vanity. So the son of David, our savior, came, and what did he say? I'm in this world, but I'm not of this world. I don't worship both God and mammon. See, the Most High hates idolatry beyond more than anything we could think about. And that's what I'm learning more and more. That's humbling me of how idolatrous I was in my pursuits.
Idolatry.
Oh, man.
Repeat that again. God hates what?
That's the first commandment. He said, I will have, but just think about it logically. If you created all things and someone's ascribing other things that have no life to be the one that made it, you're going to feel hot too. You did all that work for your working double jobs for your children to go to college, and then at the graduation when they get the highest honor, they up there talking about, I want to thank my friends and my boyfriend or my girlfriend for doing this. You and the seat gonna be tore up. So imagine you being evil, me being evil, know how to get good gifts to your children. See, that's what the Savior was talking about. How much more does your Father feel when he created all these things? He wakes us up. He gives us life. He gives us the birds, the bees. All of them do what they're supposed to do. Are they equal? Are birds and bees equal? How are we defining equal? Yeah, they're equally important to the overall structure of the Most High's divine plan, just like everyone else. Every single thing that's going on, if we would realign it to how would the Most High be looking like? Or back in the day, they used to have you remember the band that said, what would Jesus do? How would the Most High be looking at that? WWJD. Remember we had that song?
R.I.P. the brother. Rest in power.
Oh man,
Woo chill.
Yeah, we gotta find that clip. That was a hard song though. Yeah. But anyhow, so to go back to the point, there's gonna always be that process of realignment that has to happen from the way we look at things, the way we process things from the Most High perspective. And idolatry is one of the hangups or the spiritual jurisdictional lines that the enemy can get us to step into so that they can be in control, so that your net worth, your value is based on what you have and what you do. So we see that mentality came in from Reconstruction, right? From embedded into the actual system itself. So they started, you talk about roles, traditional role versus modern roles. Now, unfortunately, in the traditional roles, a lot of women were being suppressed. So they felt like, oh, I need to get out and I need to do this. Or in certain instances, the male was not home. He was off to war, or he couldn't find a job, or whatever the reasons may be. There's always going to be a reason, but we have to realize what is causing the actual, what do you call that term? The
division?
Yeah, the ebb and flow, the sowing and reaping of. This is a direct result of that. This happens, it triggers that.
Cause and effect.
Thank you, sir. Yes, cause and effect. What is the cause and effect of this particular system? It's a capitalistic society. So the focus is to make sure that everything that's being done is serving mammon, as the scripture will call it, or serving money god.
That's it.
Now, if money god is the god, what are the results of that? What is the results of the society? That means the things that are life-giving, whether it be family or building with your children or getting to know them, is no longer of value because it's not something we can capitalize in physical material. See, so
it's a detriment.
There you go. So idolatry mixed with materialism, mixed with, you got a concoction of sowing and reaping that's only going to continue to reap more degradation, more hatred, more mental health, more until it runs amok. So for us in this, what we need to learn from the Most High's perspective is, what is the first thing? Okay, we need not to worship other gods. So when you don't worship materialism, but you have material, or you don't worship money, but you have money, you move in capitalism, but you're not excessive, then your worth is not based on how much you have, because if you play that game, you're going to always lose. Anybody y'all want to pull up and act like they popping, bring them. I can point to another person who got more than them and diminish everything they stand for, but they may be great. According to what standard though? Great at what? Great at
what?
This is the shift.
So, I mean, we look through all history. You can look in any civilization. The people you read about in books, it's not necessarily tied to money. It's tied to power or some type of influence, but more or less the influence of how they impacted something, whether it's positive or negative. There was never a dollar amount tied to it. And we just live in a culture where, like, as you mentioned, idolatry, mammon, everything is money driven. People wake up in the morning, the only thing is money on my mind. That's it. So they're trying to figure out a way to make money. That's it. What type of life is that? Because at the end of the day, you can never have enough of it. And it's designed to do that because, like you mentioned, you get a little bit, you want more. It's never enough. There's always this insatiable desire for more and more. And then this is the beast, because this is the engine to feed the beast. We give you a little bit, you taste it, that's good. Give me more. It's like sugar. We got more, and then you're addicted to it. The next you know, you have diabetes, or you have some type of illness because your body has saturated or overtaken or overconsumed this thing because there's not a happy medium. So now what do you have to do? You have to go through a cleanse. You have to detox. You have to find a way to remove it. Or in people maybe going through drugs or alcohol, you have to go through withdrawal. You have to go through this therapeutic thing to remove some of these bad products and these bad things from your system. But we've always been talking, and even we used to deal with this even when we were growing up, about this whole idea of vanity. You remember we used to laugh at each other because before we got in our cars, we didn't want to crease our boots, our Timberlands, so we would take it off. We would take off our Timbs, our right one, since we'll take off our right Timbs, put it there, and either have some slides, some slippers, or bare feet, just so it wouldn't get scuffed up. And so therefore it was never creased. But once again,
pull up my Timbs. I still got them Timbs for a long time ago. You feel me?
I have some butters over there. But it wasn't until we had that conversation like, so why do we do that? Because we're trying to keep it fresh to impress, to show ourselves to be, yeah, we got the gear. Today they call it swag. Yeah. We had the madness on, DDTP. Nah, we don't wear that. We don't wear Tommy Hilfiger. We don't, y'all Bamas. Why? Because we want to separate ourselves. Exclusivity. That we are a part of an organization or part of a group that's better than. Because ultimately that's where it comes down to. You think on your mind, your spirit, that this is better than because what? You've been given a place or given privilege. And how do you show that to your fellow man? So once again, when you wake up every morning, what's the first thing in your mind? Because we as a people, if it's about how to acquire something, what our next move is going to be, we bought into the system. And that system is a death system. So everything we complain about, I'm of the belief, and I tell people around me, don't complain about nothing as long as you're feeding it. Don't tell me about racism when you're doing everything in your power to reinforce the racism. You got people, you got communities that we could be helping. I had this conversation with a client today. She was talking, because she's from St. Louis, and she was talking about how gentrification is taking place. And one of the things that she had to do was the city was trying to revitalize so-called these urban areas where a lot of low to middle income people live. But because they want to take over the cities to attract more rich people or more high earners, they tend to buy out people. So she was saying her grandmother and some of her neighbors who had their houses paid off, they had to go get lawyers and go into civil court to fight against the counties and the governments because they tried to take over their land through eminent domain. And her biggest thing was, she was saying, we don't need a whole new class or a whole new crop of people coming in. We just need a diversity of people. So in these poor, impoverished so-called areas, we just need more middle class and more upper class people to live and commune together. It's not one or all. Because if there's a diversity, that gives hope to all levels where the ecosystem can flow perfectly.
But that's not the agenda.
That's not the agenda at all. But see, once again, I'm glad you said that, because we, people, believers, whoever, we adopt that same mentality. Oh, I don't want to live with them. Oh, it's dangerous over there. Hold up. You can go there for certain things, but in certain things you can't live amongst them. Oh, okay. Because you think you're better than. But the place you go in, they look at you just like you were the folks in the urban area. They don't want to be with you either. So why won't you go and invest and be with your own? And this is that a part of that unification, that rechanging of the mind. No, your money is just as good. Our brothers and sisters, lower income classes, if we're not there to be that lifeline, to be that encourager or that motivator, what opportunity are they going to see? So who's the role model going to be? How do you expect our young brothers and sisters to want to go into STEM and be doctors if no doctors live in their neighborhood? If all they see is the worst in society, why do we expect anything other than street culture and all these other things? There's things that we consider to be an ill to society.
Cause and effect.
Cause and effect.
It's so, built that way.
So it's a duty for us to not run to the hills or run to the suburbs or to run away from the people that we say we love the most. Because don't come marching now because a young man got shot by the police in an area that you ran away from. Because you could have been that lifeline. You could have been that hope. You could have been that beacon of light. You could have been that person. That person was like, you know what? I like you, Mr. P&M. Matter of fact, can you mentor me? How can you help me to kind of better myself? And then we start to have these conversations. That's why for me, I always try to stay as close to the city as possible. I would rather be in the city. People are like, man, it's dangerous over there. It's like, man, I'm gonna get in my Navigator. I don't care. Go blasting. I'm going to go straight. I'm more comfortable here than I'm over here. Because here I'm like a fish out of water. I know the heart of the people.
Right.
And then we look at it when we look at the scriptures. When Jesus roamed the earth, he was amongst the people. When we were in the churches, even our band, that's something that was cultivated in our spirit.
Mm-hmm.
Everything that we're a part of was for the people that society has rejected.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, y'all don't want this? That's our focus. When we go overseas, we're going to the rural areas where nobody wants to go. Oh, those people are poor. Oh, those people are illiterate.
That's how you look at it.
Oh, those people can't do this.
Mm-hmm.
From what lens are you looking from? Because all I see is my brother and my sister, just like me.
Mm-hmm.
What, just because I went to school, I can speak a certain way, I'm better than them?
Another taken out by the wall. What? I've seen this play out before. Yeah, they talk good, say they want heal. It's time to heal. Change the outcomes if it's real. Is it? I see me die so many times, think I've given up.